You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while planning thruples with Misha and Hunter. God, I hope it works out. Stack ourselves with the clinches out. Shout it from the rooftop, can you hear the sound? Yeah. Live your best life, love it out loud. Love it out loud. Hey HBs. I gotta start by plugging our Patreon. I'm very proud of it. There's tons of bonus content, live events, early and network ad-free episodes, and more. This week, I'm doing a cozy MM roundup, and some wonderful people are already a part of the Patreon. So hello, you gorgeous cuddlefish. That's with 2 Ds, not 2 Ts. Vicky H, Anya T, Jen B, here for the plot, CJ, and Theo. When we left off, Harper had just taken Riddick to be surreptitiously examined by her super empath mom, and he didn't get attacked with cutlery, so he's been cleared. Now they're at a bar, and he just confirmed that he's attracted to her, but absolutely doesn't want to talk about it. That's where we're jumping in.
So then they get interrupted because Riddick sees a vampire going out the back door into an alley with a lady. And he's like, not on my watch. And so he gets up and goes straight back and follows them. And then Misha goes, wasn't that? And Harper goes, yeah, but he doesn't know him. And so then then they go running after him. And by the time he sees the interaction, he realizes that it's completely consensual. They're making out and he's feeding. And then he's playing with her tits, her tits are out. It's great. And so then he's about to turn around and go back inside because this is none of his business. But Harper comes barreling out the door and he's like, Harper, the fuck? And she's like, no, don't hurt him. He's not doing anything wrong. It's totally fine. He's like, yeah, I figured that out. Why do you think you need to tell me that? And it's because he's her tenant and the oldest vampire in the city.
Hunter is so unnecessarily attractive to me.
And suave. Ooh.
For a side character. This man would speak, the way that he talks, I would melt like a fucking puddle.
Uh-huh.
Immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 500 years old or something.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he and Misha go way, way back because she kept on sending slayers after him to murder him, thinking because her job told him that he was this vicious killer. But he, he's old and he's experienced. And so he just killed all of them out of self-defense. And he finally showed up to her office being like, hey, man, can you please stop sending guys to die at my hand because I'm just living my life, And she's like, you're a vicious bloodsucker and you kill innocents. And he's like, I don't. I haven't in a really long time. And the only time I did it was war and self-defense. So no, but she doesn't believe him.
Yeah. Well, the only people that I've killed in the last 100 years are the fucking assholes that you keep sending after me. So I'm telling you, stop sending them because if you do, then there's going to be another one. And those are the ones that I have killed. And the only reason I killed them is because they've been attacking me. And she's like, did they even hurt you? And he's like, no. I have learned how to fight in ways that people don't even remember.
Yeah.
No, there's no way that they killed me.
No.
They didn't even touch me.
It's sad at this point, and I don't want to kill these young bucks, They should just be able to live a life. Stop doing this.
Yeah.
And so she finally, ends up not sending people after him anymore. But this is like 20 years into their acquaintance. They're seeing each other again in this alleyway, and she's still like venomous toward him.
Oh
and
my
he's still
God.
so turned on. He says like, what else can you do with your sharp tongue?
He is just like, he simultaneously takes no shit and gives shit back just as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, oh God, he's the way that that insults flow off his back like water flows off a duck, you know?
Mhm. Real
Man,
sexy.
those water resistant feathers, and he's got them.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
You know?
All over. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And so he like sends this lady home after she and Harper like fight a little bit for no reason and call each other skanks.
Mm-hmm.
And he sends her home by using mind control on her.
Mm-hmm.
And Misha's like,
ooh,
caught you in
he's
the act.
old and ooh, he's powerful. And
He can glamour them.
oh, he's a competence boner in a lot of different ways, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he's like, but actually, I'm going to stay here for a sec because I wanted to talk to Harper anyway. I'm getting things from the wrong side of vampirehood that, like, you're in danger, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix is coming after you because of that shit you did. And she's like, yeah, I know. God. And Hunter is sort of in on it now because he, like, also understands the danger that she's in. So now they go back to her house, right? And they sit on the couch, very importantly to me, Melody.
Yes.
Yes.
So they get back to the couch. They is this when this happens?
My other favorite thing, right before they leave Hunter, Riddick is like, we're leaving now. Thank you for your help, Hunter. And then says Harper looked up at him, a disgusted scowl riding her features. You suck. You can say thank you, just not to me. And he's like, bwahaha. It's great. Bwahaha. Yeah, that's my understanding. Okay, so now they go back to her house and
No.
no.
This is not when this happens. Nope.
They start looking for Phoenix by going through people associated with him.
And specifically, he tells her, I'll take care of this. You need to stay out of it because if he's got a murder boner for you, like, you need to stay home and out of the fray. And because she is Harper Hall, she's like, okay, sounds good. But then she gets a little antsy and decides that it's time to go to a vampire bar called The Lair, all on her lonesome.
Because Hunter told them, with Misha.
Yeah, but like for all intents and purposes, as far as backup is concerned,
Sure.
all on her lonesome.
Well, because Hunter told them that there's a person at the Lair who's a bartender who has been like catching and drugging women.
Roofing.
Yeah. And then basically presenting them to Phoenix in the hopes that someday he'll like them enough to like turn them into a vampire, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so we end up being at this bar. They think that they have the one. It's this fucking skeezy ass dude who does in fact sell drugs. And she ends up like saving this one girl from being roofied.
Not like fun ones. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. No problem with fun drugs. Live your best life.
Yeah.
But like, don't roofie
sell your
people,
weed, man.
You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, so she ends up saving somebody from being roofied and like sexually assaulted, which was pretty great. And then they get him alone to talk to him, and she realizes this isn't the guy.
Yeah.
The person who is the guy is not a guy. It's a lady. Which, like, oh my God. Rough. It was definitely more impactful for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, like, in the most fucked up kind of way, you expect it from, we all expected it to be a man, and then finding out that it's not was like, oh, what happened?
Really tough.
What
happened to ladies sticking together?
Yeah, you know? Like, don't like that. So anyway, they end up getting out there. When they leave the bathroom, Riddick is there. And he, like, has her up against the wall in this hallway, and he's like, what are you doing here? And just goes fully just feral about it, which, fair.
And she's like, oh, hey, Riddick. How are you doing? It's me. I'm here.
I love Riddick because Misha's like, hey guys, and they're having this moment of going back and forth, and they're like just biting each other's faces off with their words. And Misha's like, hey, hello, hi, hey, she's getting away. And then they're like, oh no. So he tears off like a bat out of hell, fire under his ass.
To go around the
into
building.
the alley. And then as he hits that front street, he is so
Can I read it?
Yep.
Can I read it? Okay. Riddick rounded the corner just in time to see Harper step out the front door and clothesline the bartender, throwing her neatly to the ground. Flipping her over, Harper wrenched the girl's arms behind her back, pulled a plastic zip tie from her jacket pocket, and used it to bind her wrists. The whole thing took less than a minute. It was maybe the hottest thing he'd ever seen.
I have literally that exact quote. I was like, yeah.
It's so good.
I understand both of you, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they end up like, her name's Lisa, I think. Or something like that, Luna. And she ends up not wanting to give information. And they're like, well, we can get it from you through force, essentially. So they take her to Hunter. And boy, they walk into that room. And this girl is immediately on the floor like, oh my God.
Begging at his feet. I'll do anything for you. I will be your slave.
And it
whatever
turns
you want.
out, like, boy, desperate people will do a lot of shitty stuff because it turns out the reason that, like, none of, like, premonition wasn't working, like, none of these things were working is because she has vampire blood. And not only so she's immune to a lot of stuff, but it's because she has bone cancer. And the vampire, that's why she wants to be immortal, is it's not going to stop anything, but it's going to slow it down enough that she can live basically a normal life.
Harper says, why do you do this? Is immortality that important to you? You want to stay young so bad you'll condemn innocent women to death? That you'll let Phoenix torture you as some kind of training exercise? And then Lisa responds, you try living with bone cancer and see what you're willing to do to stop the pain. Oof, that dropped
Desperate
like a penny.
People, especially in our current health insurance world that we live in, it was like, how? I know people, and I wouldn't fault them. I wouldn't be happy, but like I know people that like this would be a rough decision, you know?
I would fault them, but I would see the lot. Like I would understand.
I would understand. I would still be deeply like unhappy. Yeah, I would have some words. You know, we would be putting a stop to that, but like, I get it.
Yeah. Well, and now, because they're at Hunter's apartment, which is in the basement level of her building, they're so close. They should just go take a rest up at Harper's house, you know? And so Misha leaves, and then he and Harper go back up to her apartment, and they're sitting on the couch. It is the couch scene, everyone. We have arrived.
But in this couch scene, part of what leads to physical intimate times is some
emotional
intimate times, because this is when we learn about his daughter.
Oh no, I have to tell you one thing that he said to her right after he saw her throw that bitch to the ground and get her all tied up real good. Riddick grabbed Harper's arm as she opened the passenger door. She looked up at him, her eyes wary. He hated that he'd put that look there. I owe you an apology, he said. Her head jerked back as if he'd slapped her. You do? He nodded. You were right. I don't give you enough credit. What you did tonight, it was amazing. You're amazing. And then like they cup each other's jaw. He cups her jaw. And oh my God. And then he says, so soft and delicate looking on the outside, tough and smart and fearless on the inside. How can you, he strokes his thumb over her cheekbone. How can you be all those things at once? And then she turned her face into him. And then Misha's like, I've got places to be on the car horn. It's really mean. Misha's very mean.
Hey, HBs. Pippa Grant has a hilarious rom-com that's hot off the presses and ready for you. I was hooked on the premise alone. An unforgettable revenge date between a famous British single dad and a small-town girl who's ready to mic drop her way into her best future. Here's the description. I might be the only person not obsessed with Simon Lockwood, Hollywood's hottest leading man and the newest part-time resident of my little hometown. I don't trust the way he's always smiling. no one smiles that much. And I'm clearly missing something because I don't get why the character Simon played on his weird hit TV show is so popular. But revenge is a dish best served cold, just like the dishes on the menu at the restaurant my ex stole from me. So, Simon feels guilty enough about his twin teenage boys accidentally getting me arrested that he wants to take me out on an apology date? I see the perfect opportunity to get mine. One night, one date, one very loud public scene at my ex's grand opening, and then I can wash my hands of men forever. That's exactly how it has to go, because my life cannot handle one more plot twist. And readers agree, it's a must-read, okay? One of the reviewers said, Pippa really outdid herself with this one. I loved all the characters and laughed out loud so many times at their shenanigans and swooned at the beautiful romance. Another said, chaos, laughter, heart. This book is pure Pippa Grant magic, a rom-com that will make you cackle 1 minute and melt into a puddle the next. Between revenge dates, chaotic side characters, and a single dad hero who somehow manages to be both a golden retriever and a Hollywood heartthrob, this story is impossible to put down. I put buy links in the show notes, and I have heard through the grapevine that in addition to being on e-reader and on audiobook, that they're gonna do paperbacks with sprayed edges and stuff like that. Look, check it out. I'm putting the links, okay? And you click the links and then you can find out about sprayed edges or whatever, all right? Oh, rom-coms are needed right now. Bye.
Okay, so now we're up on that couch.
This is when we find out about his daughter. So apparently the reason that there's like a lot of backstory going on with like seers and slayers having, you know, intimate relations and all of those things. But he specifically only ever slept with his seer one time, and it led to a child. And it turns out that her name is Adrian. And that is the one night of the year that he gets drunk. And it happened to be that night at that club. And it's because he can't be with his daughter for her birthday. Because,
well, and to be clear,
dangerous.
he didn't just volunteer this information, though, because she asks him why he wasn't mad at Cecilia or something like that. And she's like, I mean, she set a trap for you and you almost got killed. And he's like, nah, it wasn't a trap. Because that's the story, right? Is that she was threatened by vampires. And as a result, she trapped him, or like she lured him to a warehouse where he got like almost killed by 5 vampires. But that's actually not true, because she immediately told him about the threat. And he went to it anyway because he was protecting the girl. And she's like, why would you protect Cecilia's daughter, though? And he pulls out this like ragged picture from his wallet of a little girl with his eyes. And she's like, oh my God, like, that's your daughter. And then she gets the whole story.
Yeah.
But, and yeah, he can't be with her. And then she is kind of projecting her daddy issues because she was abandoned by her dad. And she's like, why do you think that your daughter doesn't want to know you? And like, why do you think she doesn't need a father's love? And Riddick says, she does have a dad. Cecilia's married to a really nice fucking saint of a dude. And she gets all the fatherly love she needs.
Who's not going to be a reason that she's constantly in danger. So, like, it's better for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we learn about Adrian, and boy, it's hot that he's
That's a big turn on.
He's opening up, and they end up, she, like, gets up close to him, and she, like, hugs him.
Yeah.
She hugs him, and he's, like, fucking dead still. And says, what's this for? I just felt like it, she said, blinking back tears. And then he finally hugs her back and says, if I'd known talking about prison and the kid I had with another woman would get this kind of reaction from you, I would have brought it up sooner. And she laughs and says, "You do have a sense of humor. I was starting to wonder." "Don't tell anyone," he grumbled. "I've got a reputation to uphold." And then she says, "Two funnies in a row. Don't hurt yourself now." And it's so fun and so cute. And boy, he smells so fucking good.
Yeah.
And then we get to his point of view. And in his point of view, he's like, "Oh man, I'm so fucking into this lady, bro. Like, it's insane." And like, I have to remind myself to breathe. It's hard to breathe because she's right here and she smells so good. And then she's like, "Keep talking." And he's like, "Well, what do you want me to say?" And she's like, "Anything. I just want to hear your voice." And then he apologizes to her because she wants to basically forget that Phoenix is out there looking for her. And he's like, "I'm sorry, basically, that you're in this situation right now and that it's because of me and all of that." And then she says to him, "When do you think he'll come after me, Noah?" Noah, not Riddick. And she's like, "When do you think he'll come after me?" And he says, "Not tonight, Harper."
Hearing his first name on her lips broke him. Unable to pretend to be noble a moment longer, he tugged her bodily into his lap. "Not tonight, Harper. No one's going to get close enough to you tonight to touch you. Except me."
Hot.
Hot.
Hot. And then we do get a really hot makeout scene. This is when we find out that she doesn't have to wear bras anymore because she's a lucky bastard. She could just make the choice not to wear a bra.
Sure.
Yep. Oh boy, I'm jealous. And then we have like a super hot makeout scene. They end up like half naked. There's grinding on the couch and all of these things.
She's like, "Get in me," literally. Like, that's not Melody fanfic. She's like, "Get in me.
Get in me right now.
I need you right now." Yeah. But then there's a bang, 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 bang down at the door.
Oh boy. It's Lucas. It turns out that someone is dead. Someone who Harper immediately clocks looks an awful lot like her.
Yeah. Phoenix is sending a message.
And literally there's a note written in blood on a wall, in this woman's blood, basically, that is like,
"Riddick, she's mine."
Yeah.
She's next or something.
Yeah. Something creepy and shit. And immediately, obviously, everybody's on high alert because this means, Phoenix is after him. Like,
For
shit.
real.
This is like big bad times.
Very specifically. Yeah. Yeah. And so Lucas is like, "Hey, we could actually spin this into a really good thing. We'll just use you as bait." And Riddick's like, "Over my fucking dead body."
Harper obviously is all in.
Oh, yeah.
Harper's like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
And Riddick is like, "No."
Well, and so Lucas says like, "No, don't worry about it. We'll have like 25 cops on her at all times." And then he leaves the room to like give them a moment to chat. And she's like, "Riddick, why do you think that this wouldn't be safe?" And he says, "Because I realized I'm a lot like, what's his name? Phoenix. And no amount of cops could keep me away." And then, and she goes, "Riddick, you're nothing like, for Christ's sake, Harper, I'm obsessed with you." He set her away from him firmly. "I don't have a single fucking thought anymore that doesn't begin and end with you, so don't tell me I'm nothing like him." His hands shook as he shoved them through his hair again. "The entire Whispering Hope Police Department couldn't keep me from you." For once in her life, Harper Hall was speechless. He looked torn between yanking her up against him and kissing her senseless and throwing her out her apartment window. No one had ever looked at her quite like that before, and his intensity was more than a little daunting.
And then she says to him, "Please don't be mad at me. I can't stand to have you look at me like you hate me." And he says, "Harper, if I was capable of hating you, we wouldn't be in this mess."
Yep. And then he says, "Fine, you do what you gotta do, but I'm gonna go do what I gotta do." And she's like, "What does that cryptic shit mean?" And he says, "I'm going hunting to make sure that she doesn't get to you before I do." That he doesn't. Sorry.
And then we do a zippy zap, listener. Horny times are over, and we zippy
God,
zap.
they're over. for
Lucas-
a long time, Sabrina.
Lucas is camping out on her pull-out sofa, and then she gets kidnapped out from under him. Some creepy motherfucker comes up behind her in her bedroom and is like, well, hello there, darling. And then, like, chloroforms her and bites her. And it's a whole thing. And then now she's gone.
And Lucas gets stun-gunned into submission by somebody else.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think we said this. Lucas is some kind of big shifter. We find out later
he's
he's
like
a
a wolf
wolf
boy.
shifter or something like
Yeah.
that. But he's a big shifty boy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of alpha tension in the air when we get Lucas and Riddick in the same room, because Riddick was hunting and that he can feel that something is wrong. And so he goes back to her house and she's gone. Lucas is like being patched up by some of his guys. It's a whole thing. And Riddick is... He's about
beside himself.
He's about to burn the world down.
Well, and notably, I didn't get this until the second read through, but one of the, why are you looking at me like that? Yeah, I read it twice.
How many? Oh, that's it?
That's it. That's just it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. I know, right?
Wow.
Great for me. I know.
Look at you.
Thank
Okay.
you. And I didn't get this until the second read through, but one of the reasons Riddick is like so uber extra more upset is because not only was he hunting, but he basically like trailed them, escorting them back to her apartment all the way back there. And then when he didn't see Phoenix, he was like, and I was stupid enough to like go back out hunting thinking that he wasn't around. And then she gets scooped. And so he's trying to be like, Lucas, you're the worst. But he's also talking to himself. Yeah.
He blames himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we zippy zap. We end up seeing her locked up. We don't need to go in detail on all this stuff, but I'm just going to tell you some content warning on fucking creepy sexual assault. Phoenix is a creepy motherfucker, some of the stuff that he says. Like, I'm going to, like, the things he's saying. The only thing that I really want to dive into is, I'm going to make you scream, because that comes back later in a really satisfying way.
Yes. It doesn't even compare to the Bone King and the Starling.
Okay. Whoa.
To the threat in the Bone King and the Starling.
Whoa. That's like... Melody, this is... Nothing compares to the Bone King and the Starling. That is...
I mean, but remember that threat that we read?
I know. That's what I'm saying, is like, that is the spider's Georg of creepy sexual assault shit to say, okay?
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
That can't be in the pool of data.
It's the outlier.
This cannot be in the pool of data that we are making mathematical assumptions based on, because it will fuck everything up, okay?
Yeah, you're right. I'm broken. Because you said he's a creepy fucker, and I'm like,
Melody, you're not allowed to be broken on that one.
You're right.
That can't be.
You're totally right. Content warning.
That cannot be your on a scale of 1 to 10. That can't be your 10, because then
It's a 25.
everything is a 1.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
That one just breaks the scale. Good job, Elizabeth Stevens. That's going to live rent-free in my head for the rest of my fucking life.
It does. Because that is what popped into my head. I was reading this and I was like, oh, this is like the tame version of that, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh my God, Melody. Wow, it's not often that I have to reel you back from like that kind of thing, because usually you and I are on the same level as far as a fucked up meter is concerned, but like I need to... I'm laying down the
No, you got
HB
me back
law,
on track.
Okay.
Yes. You got me back on the rails, and I appreciate it because my reactions to this person were not at all the level they should have been.
It's not that bad. He didn't threaten to turn her into nothing but a torso.
That he fucks.
Melody.
And he keeps in a trunk.
Melody.
So you can just take her out anytime.
Oh my God. Melody, stop. You're going into more detail here than we did in the episode purposefully.
It's wild. It's wild, the thing that is said. Okay, look. Anyway, also, not only is he a creepy fucker, he also has a slight British accent, which I think really ratchets up the creep factor. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but it does.
You heard it here.
Because he sounds all posh when he does it.
You heard it here, listener. Melody,
don't you tell them I'm calling the red
British
coach creepy.
Don't
creepy. Do it. You know that's not what I mean, you asshole.
That'll make recording later this week real fucking weird if that's how you feel.
Damn it. It's not what I mean. I just mean that, like, he sounds like so posh and put together while he's saying horrendous shit out loud. And that just makes it creepier for me. That's all.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
You and your broken meter.
Little Miss Broken Meter over here.
Little Miss Broken Meter. Little Miss.
Maybe that's going to be.
Little Miss.
Is that going to be on the reading embrace?
Little Miss Broken
Little Miss
Meter.
Broken Meter.
I do kind of love that. Oh my God, there's so many meters that could be broken too. I would love to see what a listener puts for that.
Yeah,
I'm
agreed.
open to this. Okay.
Agreed. Anyway, also Benny helped him, but that's because Benny was an idiot who claims to have believed that this asshole wouldn't hurt her. She was just going to be bait.
And you know what? I honestly believe that Benny did believe it. I think that Benny is
maybe
enough
he talked
of a
himself
knuckle
into
fuck.
No. I believe he talked himself into it because he would rather do it, than face
It's
Phoenix's
purposeful
ire.
denial, but he forced himself into living in a world where Phoenix was not gonna brutalize her. Because it really, frankly, doesn't take much to convince him to give her the key.
No. Well, yeah.
So he does. He's like at the top of the stairs and he's like, I'm so sorry that I did this thing. And he explains all of the things we just talked about. And she's like, well,
she's like, I would believe you if I wasn't chained to the basement fucking floor. Okay.
Well, and then she's like, I have never needed a white knight to roll in and save me like some damsel in distress. And this isn't going to be the first time. But also, I wouldn't say no to it if Riddick happened to show up on his steed, you know? And I was like, girl, I feel seen.
Yeah, she does a big Princess Bride and she says, Wesley will come for me.
But also,
doesn't matter.
I'm going to make it easier on him by getting this party started myself.
Yeah. Yeah, so she gets Benny to undo her chains. And then as they go to get up the stairs, Benny hasn't, like, looked around to see if it's clear or not. And Phoenix is just standing up there being like, hey, Benny.
I just pictured Phoenix, like, lounging against the side of the hallway at the other end, watching him just be like, I saw we. Yeah, I'll come unlock you now. And Phoenix is like, yeah. That's about what I figured would happen.
So Phoenix breaks Benny's neck and he's going to be fine, but, you know, he's down for the count right now. And then he starts, like, assaulting her a little bit. She's taunting him a lot and he's, like, hitting her and on top of her and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Riddick's there. Hello. Riddick is here. Here he comes to save the day. He's got a crossbow. I think it's her crossbow, too, which I really... No, it's Misha's crossbow. Anyway.
Because Misha wants to come along, and he really, like, Riddick is like, hey, Hunter, make sure Misha doesn't come. And Hunter's like, I mean, I can follow the spirit of that, but not the letter, because I want to make her come.
If she gives me the opportunity to make her come, I'm not saying no.
I will make her come. Their whole subplot is just very
I love it.
Delightful. I love it. And, like, it's basically that, like, she's, you know, questioning all of her whole life and her life with Sentry. And then on top of that, she's, you know, coming up on 40 and she's not who she was 20 years ago when she first met Hunter. And he's just stayed this super hot mid-20s god of a man.
Yeah, Mr. Buff Sexy.
Oh, God. He's so suave and he's so hot and
he's so into her.
Oh my God, he's just so into her.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so they do like he does like a villain monologue and finally he has her up as a human shield between him and Riddick. And then Riddick says, "Do you trust me?" And it looks like the answer is the key to his existence, whether or not she trusts him. And she thinks to herself, I've trusted many a man who's gone back on me and really fucked me over. And I can count on one hand the amount of men I trust now. Actually, it's one finger. And then she says, yes. And he shoots, what's his name, right through the forehead. And it zips right over her head. It's so close to hitting her, but she trusted the right man, you know? And so it didn't hit her. And now they're together forever, basically.
Yeah.
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 The cavalry come in.
And then, listener, I thought the book was essentially over. I thought we were going to have a sex
Me
scene
too.
that would basically be over. That is not even close to what happens. We end up having another whole third of the book left, basically. Because we end up hearing more about Misha and Hunter and things like that. And then we end up having like the aftermath where he is sleeping in her living room. He's taking care of her. He's giving her tough love when she needs it, in the sense of he's not doing it himself. He's bringing her mom in as backup.
Yep. And the mom claims him as family, which is really important. Riddick does not compute to Riddick. She's like, you saved my baby. That makes you one of mine. And Riddick is like, oh my God, Noah Riddick with a family? That can't be right. It's so sweet.
And
but
then,
yeah, tell them about the moments. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then we have like those moments, and it's so beautiful because we see all these moments where he just understands her he sees her on such a level that she doesn't have to request certain things, even if it's like, he's just letting her deal with the situation on her own. Like, there's a moment where there's the blood stain from Lucas getting knocked out in her living room, and she just goes feral and attacks it with cleaning supplies until she bleeds. And like,
while sobbing.
and he's just standing there waiting, letting her get it out. And then when she finishes what she's up to and can't do it anymore, he just picks her up and takes her into her bedroom and like cleans her up and tucks her in and helps her sleep.
And snuggles her against his chest without saying a word.
There's a scene where they go to the girl who died in her place, like as the message. They go to her grave, and like there's this moment where I don't remember if it's out loud or if it's just in their, like, one of their heads, it's a memory or whatever, but it's like, most people wouldn't have let this happen. They would think that this would set her back, but like, she needs this. She needs to confront the fact that this woman died in her place.
Yeah.
And it's just, God, it's really nice. It's really beautiful. His understanding.
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. And then when they're walking back to the car, she's like, hey, Riddick, do you think you might want to talk about us? And he's like, nope. She's like, well, we probably should. And he's like, no, because I don't want to talk about it because you won't like the answer. And she's like, no, come on, man. And he's like, come on.
Dude, same though. Like, just tell me. I don't care if it is, you are hurting me more by keeping this fucked up secret than by anything that could come from you sharing your actual thoughts on the thing. Like, leaving me in limbo is way crueler, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
it's
and then
up.
he does the next worst thing, which is, I can't be with you because I want to protect you, so I'm going to cut it off now. And she's like, so you're going to break up with me now so that you don't hurt me? And he's like, yes, exactly. And she's like, hey, dumbass, that hurts. You're hurting me by doing that. And he's like, nope, it's not anywhere near the amount that it'll hurt later. And like, the danger town is important. It's an important factor. Yeah,
I can't believe I forgot about this. I was looking for a quote. The scream. It comes back because they're at the hospital, and she ends up, he's shot in the head. Phoenix is shot in the head with a
we
fucking
also see her do it.
Yeah. But but the quote from the hospital is what made me remember. So I'm back at the first place. She ends up stabbing him because she's like, a crossbow isn't enough. And then she says, remembering every moment he toyed with her, threatened her, and scared the living crap out of her, Harper grabbed the knife, raised it, and buried it with a scream in Phoenix's groin. There, you son of a bitch, she shouted. I screamed. Was it as good for you as it was for me? And I was like, hell yes, Harper.
Let me just worship at your feet.
Yeah, and then at the hospital, she's knocked out. She's like sedated, and the nurse looks at Riddick and is like, the cops told me my girl here buried a switchblade in her attacker's groin. That true? Riddick smiled at the memory. She sure did. She shrugged a shoulder. And the other reason this is important, listener, is Riddick, while she's passed out, Riddick is already hard on the "this is all my fault" train. I need to protect her train. And he has said as much out loud to this nurse by this point, and the nurse looks at him and says, "Doesn't seem to me like a girl who can survive a serial killer and manage to fillet his dick in the process is a girl who needs to be sheltered from you or anybody else." And I was like, I love this nurse. I love this nurse.
I love her. And then she like puts a little bit of hair behind Harper's ear. And she said, "Lord, save us from men who think they know better than we do." Or something like that.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
good.
So we're back in like healing times, right? And then they have this weird like not partners agreement again, because this is what leads to this. This is what leads to what Melody talks about, where Melody was talking about.
Oh, when he breaks up with her.
Yes. But what leads to this is he's like, "What do you want?"
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "I want you, Riddick, as my partner at work and at home." And he says, "You don't want much, do you?" And she says, "I want it all. I want you." And then he says, "Harper." And they're just looking soulfully into each other's eyes.
Yeah.
And he says, "Harper," and she says, "No, I don't want your answer today. I want you to think about it for a while. Don't shoot me down until you've thought seriously about it." And he just looks at her and he's like, "Okay, I'll think about it." And it's like, obviously he's already thought about it. Like, he knows his decision. And in the meantime, she squeezed his hand. Not partners.
Mm-hmm.
And he brings her fingertips to his mouth and kisses them. And then he says, "Not partners." Oh, God damn it, Riddick, you shit. So then this is the scene where he is like, she's like, "Have you thought about it?" And he's basically like, "Yeah, I have thought about it, and this isn't gonna work. I have to protect you from myself, and like, this isn't it, because there's no way for you to stay safe and me be in the picture." And she's like, "That is the biggest pile of bullshit I have ever heard in my life, Riddick."
Yeah, it's terrible logic.
She's like, "What the actual fuck? This hurts just as bad." And he's like, "Sucks to suck, sorry." And then he leaves. He just
And the next page, it
off.
says it was weeks that she hadn't seen Riddick. It fast forwards like weeks.
And then there's a knock on her door.
She's so excited to see Riddick. She knows it's Riddick. She knows in her bones it's Riddick.
By the way, listener, this is important because we didn't really tie into this, but like, or I guess we did talk about the fact that he's the other love interest, because it's not him. It's not Riddick. It's Lucas at the door. And she's like disappointed. And she's like, "Lucas, this is a surprise. Come on in." And he says, "I'm happy to see you too," he said dryly. And she's like, "Sorry, I thought you were someone else." And he says, "You thought I was Riddick. At least you hoped I was." Ugh, awkward in her head. And then she says, "I'm sorry, and he holds up his hand and he's like, "Don't be sorry. Just tell me you're going to go out with me on Friday night." And she's like, "Ugh, even more awkward." Because at this point, there has been a kiss between them in the book.
Yeah.
And it's a good kiss. He is objectively a good kisser, but she doesn't feel the sparks that she does with Riddick. And this is the reason exclusively that I am so fucking into Lucas. Is like, this gives you like 50 fucking levels of hot.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, especially when the other option is Noah, I don't talk to people, Riddick. And Noah, I make decisions on other people's behalf, Riddick. And he thinks he's doing it for the right reasons, right? And that's fine, but it doesn't change the fact that you are removing this person's autonomy.
Yes.
And in this fucking conversation, she's like, "Look, I've already decided that I'm going to seduce Riddick into being my man. So, like, that's not fair to you." And he's like, you make that decision because you've decided that you're going to seduce him into changing his mind. I'm going to seduce you into changing yours. But it's not, it didn't feel icky the way that other books, it's felt icky. It was very much like, he's like, if you don't change your mind, that's you, but like, I'm going to try. And she's like, but that's not fair. And he's like, you don't get to decide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she says, so you want to go out with me even though I plan to seduce Riddick? He shrugged one shoulder. I'm not threatened by Riddick. If I can get you to give me a chance, I can make you realize I'm the better man for you. Wow, that was probably the cockiest thing she'd ever heard. Insanely alpha. It was a little sexy.
Really sexy.
And tempty. Harper, he went on, are you sure Riddick's the only reason you're hesitant here? It's not anything else. And it turns out that he's like, I'm a shifter. There's some shit in the world.
He doesn't tell her that. He just says, is it not anything else? And she goes, I know you're a shifter. I don't care.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
And then he looks at her and he says, look, Harper, Riddick, he's not whole. I've seen it a million times in X-Slayers. They've seen and done terrible things, and sometimes it permanently damages them. He's not capable of loving you like I can. He's a shadow, and you deserve better than chasing shadows. And then she says, okay, but it's not fair to you. I can't stand the thought of using you to pass the time while I wait for Riddick. I don't want to end up hurting you. And then this is the sexiest thing, because he says, you let me worry about me. I think you're worth the risk.
And then he says, pick you up at 7. And she's like, what? I didn't even say yes. And he's like, nah, you were going to.
You were going to. And she's like,
hot.
Fuck, he's right.
It's a big self-assurance boner.
It really is. And I think my favorite, the reason it's so fucking hot is that, like, this is always, like, my biggest thing. It's a you problem. If you like somebody and they don't like you back, that's a you problem. You don't get to make it everybody else's problem.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
like, you just need to acknowledge that other people, and you can't, and if that's how they choose to live their life, you can't change it. You can't bully somebody into not feeling a certain way. And if you have issues with the way that they're interacting with the relationship that you have with that person, whether it's like platonic, whatever it is, if they choose to actively do something that harms them, you also have the choice to end the thing. She could have said, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she could have put a hard stop on it.
Yeah, because like he's like, he laid it all out, and she had the choice. She has the choice to just not.
And it's clear that he's going into this eyes wide open. So the next page, Riddick is pacing and he's coming apart at the seams. And he doesn't know what to do because I can't breathe without you really conflicts with I can't be with you because it's too dangerous, he says to himself.
The minute she gets here, I have this whole fucking thing highlighted.
Same.
I never know where to stop.
It's like 4 pages of highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he hears like, dum, 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 dum. And he thinks like, oh my God, it's her. Like only she can announce her presence without saying a word. He goes down and opens the door, and she's in this little black dress because it's after her date with Lucas. And she's like, what are you doing, dingbat? Like, are you ready to get your head out of your ass and be with me? Because guess what I was doing tonight? And he's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. She's like, I was out with Lucas. And he's like, I could kill him. All of my body says I should kill him, but I won't. That's not a good thing to do. And then yeah, she's like, I'm not leaving until we're together, basically.
Basically, yeah. Because she shoves him back up against the wall, this tiny little lady, and she's got her hands in his lapels and is like slamming him up against the wall. And she's like, I'm going to tell it, like, it was fine. The great date was amazing. He actually talks to me. It was fantastic. And then he kisses like a fucking god. And you know what pisses me off about the whole thing? And he's like, inside, he's like, well, the fact that he kissed you is pissing me off. And she's like, I felt nothing. I felt nothing. And the reason I felt nothing is because of you. I can't stop thinking about you. I can't stop wondering about you. I want to be with you. And the fact that you won't even give me a chance, and like you have completely made the decision and not let me had any input is a fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
And like, good for her. And then finally, she pushes him to the
damn
breaking
brakes.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in her point of view, and he flips her around against the wall now. And he's got both hands on either side of her head, and he's like looming over her, and he says, fine, you want me to talk? Let's talk. And then she's like, oh, this is horny, but also like, oh shit. And he says, you want to know how I feel about you? Fine. You're rash and impatient, and you seem to care about everyone in the fucking world more than you care about yourself, which makes you go balls before brains into just about every dangerous situation you come across. And then she tries to speak and say something, and he slaps his hand over her mouth and says, you said you wanted me to talk, which means you'll need to shut the fuck up.
Hot.
And panties everywhere, incinerated on the spot.
Yes.
Like, and she's like, oh God, I guess he's right. And then he says, and just when I'm sure the only way I'll ever get a damn minute's peace again is to strangle you, you smile and I forget about all the shit you put me through. He threw his hands up in exasperation. It's like the whole damn world lights up just because you smile. How fucked up is that? Her eyes widened. Did he just admit that he... And then... when I'm with you, it hurts. Actually hurts not to touch you. I can't think straight when you're around, but I can't concentrate when you're not because I'm too busy worrying about you, missing you, or wondering what you're doing. I never wanted to feel like this. Never. I'm obsessed, crazy. I have no control. I'm in love, she whispered. He threw his hands up again. Fuck, either that or I'm stalking you. How would I know the difference? Being a natural has always kept me separate from normal people. I never really knew what it was to be human until I met you. Now I've got an overprotective mother, a brother, sisters, friends. They're yours, but still, you gave me that. I have a life only because of you, and honestly, I'm not sure that I wasn't better off before. I'm not equipped for this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ends up, like, talking to him and reassuring him, like, you're a good person. Like, you seem to have this idea of yourself. Like, you're not separate. This is separate by choice. Like, we're all here.
Yeah. And no matter your, like, hang-ups, you need to let me make my own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be with you. And then he says...
Good for you, Harper. Stand up for your fucking self. You're right. You do get to make your own decisions.
Yeah. And he goes, and despite everything, Harper, what I know is right, what I know I'm not ready for, I don't care anymore. I'm damn tired of fighting you. So here it is. I've never had a relationship before. I will make mistakes. I'll say stupid things because I don't know any better. I'll probably never be good at talking about stuff. He looked a little revolted by the thought. And I'm sure that at some point you'll want to kill me in my sleep, but I can promise this. No man will ever try harder to deserve you than I will. And she says, you love me. You really do. And he's like, this is it, Harper. This is your last chance to come to your senses. Tell me you don't want me and I'll leave you alone. It was a plea combined with him looking like he'd die if she did as he begged. Ugh!
Yeah, and then we have a little bit more talky times with them basically ironing everything out, and it's super sweet, but we can't read the entire thing. It's like 11 pages long. Mm-hmm. And now, listener, it is on TM.
We finally get uninterrupted sex.
It's once in this book, and it's worth it. Like, wow. Okay.
It might be one of my favorite sex scenes I've ever read. Simply because there's one component I've never read before. And I'm sure it's out there, but I just personally haven't read it. Because he is like trying to go slow. And she's like, do not go slow. Like, I need you in me right now. And he's like, no, I've waited for you for my whole life. I am not rushing this. I'm going to take it slow.
Are you talking about her aim? Her impeccable aim?
Yes. Yeah. And so she basically spider monkeys
out loud.
Yes,
this
absolutely, because they're both naked, And so he's trying to like kiss down her body or whatever. And she puts her arms around his neck and her legs around his waist and pulls her body up so that he penetrates her. And it's
the way I read it is she like slides herself down between him and the bed and just nails him right in her pussy. I was like,
amazing.
Did you practice that?
I know. And I really liked it because it was like, and in a move she can probably never replicate.
Boy, we've all been there.
Yeah. And so then, like, he still ends up going slow and she's a little bit mad about it. And then,
oh my God, he yoinks himself out so fast and hard that he like shoots down the bed and puts his mouth on her, makes her come like a freight train, and then immediately comes back up and enters her again. And it's hot.
Everything about it is hot.
Yeah, it's a good sex scene. It was like, it was the only one, and by God, you know what? Worth it.
Amazing.
Worth the buildup.
Great stuff.
And then they're together forever. They're together. As far as we know. I don't want to know what I'm happy with this being where we are.
Yep.
You know?
Where we end.
I'm happy.
No, importantly, he does a couple of things. She gets another waitress job to try and save her business. He disappears for 3 days. And when he gets back, he presents her with an envelope, a fat envelope full of cash. And she's like, how did you do this? Where did you get it? And he's like, it's not mine. It's Romeo's. He's doing really well in Vegas. He says hi. And he says it's $40,000, which should cover like all of his debt plus like the utilities for a while. And she's like, oh my God, not only did he say hi, but I'm pretty sure he said like, ouch, ooh, not my face. And she's like, Riddick beat a man up on my behalf and it's never been sexier. And then he also gives her another envelope that has...
Specifically, he's like, I never said thank you for everything that you did for me. And then hands her this envelope and fucks off. Walks away.
Inside the envelope is the deed to her building in her name. Paid off. And then there's a nameplate, like a nameplate that goes on the door that says Harper Hall Investigations.
It was super sweet. And like, that's why I think that's why I'm happy leaving it here. You know, like we know what comes after this.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be some mysteries, we know, or not mysteries, but like some investigative stuff. There's going to end up being, you know, back and forth because the Lucas stuff wasn't tied up, except for the fact that it's not going to be her and him long game. And I'm happy to leave it here. We know enough about Misha and Hunter's situation because we have a couple of scenes in their point of view. Like, I'm happy with that. I'm okay with this being open-ended a little bit because I know that in the end, it's not open-ended because there's a however many book series after this. But for me,
but that's what every HA is anyway. We know that it's open-ended. We know that shit happens to them after they get together, but it's none of our business, frankly.
Yeah.
Because they're happy forever for us. All right, Sabrina, what is your lady love?
My lady love is trolling as a love language.
Ooh.
And the reason I say this is your trolling endlessly amuses me, but more specifically, boy, you want to know somebody who just it really nails a troll? HB listener, Muddy. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember. It would have been public. I think it was Nara Dukewell, where I told the dry penis story.
Oh, no.
And
I'm so excited.
That week.
Yes.
In the mail from HB Muddy, I did receive a 10-pack of water-based lubricants that are small enough to fit in bags, in jackets. I will, like, every time you read in a book where they pull out, like, lube and a condom, you know, because they're prepared, that's me now. I have a lube in every bag that goes with me places. So
incredible. You'll never encounter a confusing dry penis again.
It will, and I don't have to do the thing of like do you have lube? Because, like, a shocking amount of people don't have lube on hand. And I'll be like, don't worry. I brought my own.
I came
apparently she was literally listening to the episode in line buying other things and went, Sabrina needs this.
I love her so much.
I'm going to send Sabrina this. And this is on top of the gopher that you've been sent.
Mm-hmm.
This is all of the other miscellaneous trolls that we have received from HB Medi. And yeah.
She's just a beautiful person.
Also, just throwing it out there. Hey, HB Medi, I need you to acknowledge and appreciate the fact that I remembered not to fuck up your name pronunciation. Hey, baby.
Yeah, sorry about Melody, though.
That's
anyway.
Fine. You have a lot longer to rewrite in your brain than I do.
That's fair. Yeah, it's been years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. My lady love is watching Nailed It with my kids.
What is Nailed It?
Nailed It is a Netflix show. It's a baking show. And it's basically a bunch of people, like people in the wild who are like amateur bakers, but like not in any kind of like experienced way, will come onto the show. And then they're asked to do nearly impossible feats with different desserts. And they have to try and do it in a really short amount of time. And what they come up with is always hilarious. If you still have my Netflix password, please just watch one episode of it. And
has it been 14 days?
I have no idea.
That's what my limit was.
I have no idea.
Fair.
So, oh my God. Yeah, watching Nailed It with my kids because it was so fun. We just sat there on the couch and just talking about everything they were doing the whole time and what? They put the eggs in the microwave with the butter? What? That's going to change the consistency and blah, blah, blah. And it was really, really, really fun. We were cackling and just giggling about the ways that they try to do the same artwork in fondant or molding chocolate that professional bakers do. With 3 days to prepare one cake where they have an hour and 20 minutes. God, it's so good. Anyway, watching Nailed It with my kids.
Delightful.
It's wholesome, it's fun, it's ridiculous. And it's a conversation starter, honestly. There are a lot of times where I'll watch other shows with them, but they're animated narrative ones. And so it's harder to break in with conversation because they're either glued to it or there's stuff that's happened forever ago that I haven't seen that only makes sense. The thing only makes sense because of that. And so them trying to explain something from 3 seasons ago doesn't make any sense to me. This is a one encapsulated thing. It's, real life stuff. And it was so fun. It was so fun. It's one of the things we always do at Thanksgiving too. And I don't know why we usually only do it once a year. We're going to start doing it more now.
Doing what? Watching this show?
Watching
or
Nailed
something's...
It.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Nicole Byers is the host. And
why does
she's
that name
so funny.
Sound so familiar?
You know who she is. Just Google her. She's a comedian. She has a bunch of podcasts. She's fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
Okay.
She's the one that Charissa and I were talking about during the watch party with her poor concave clitoris. Do you remember that?
Ooh, wow. It was unlocking a floodgate. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Concave clit. I could have lived the rest of my life without remembering that.
She's fine. There's no medical condition. It's just the joke that Charissa and I have because a lot of times she talks about using incredibly high-powered personal massagers. Actual massagers and not personal ones, but in a personal place. Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
All right.
Hey, go follow us on social media because our brand new social media manager would love your support. Okay?
Yeah.
She's doing incredible work. Get in there.
Look up Heaving Bosoms all over the places.
Yeah.
Love
YouTube's
yourself
as well.
Love yourself as much as you love remembering to do a shout out for your own social media on your own podcast.
Great job, us. Great job.
At the finish line.
Great job, us. Great job. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Next week, we'll be back with the epic historical The Wolf and the Wildflower by Stacey Reed.
Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you next week.